Okay, this is how to operate your LogiStop machine from a DMX console. For this video, we're going to be using a small DMX simulator here, which is going to simulate the DMX console. And we have that wired right to this little header plug. Normally that header plug will be attached to the LogiStop right there. Okay, so I just pulled it off to show you the wiring. The wiring, it's in the manual, but the top port, the black wire, is your shield. The next port, the red wire, is your data minus, and the third port, your white wire, is your data plus. The other two aren't used for DMX. So what we're going to do now is plug this back into the board here. Okay, that's good to go. And what I'm going to do is turn power back on to the machine. And when I do so, you can see it came up in its power loss state, which means there's a little red LED that's lit up here, and also the display says that it's locked. And that's just a protective state that the board goes into. If you lose power, it's not going to let you operate until somebody checks that the panel or the curtain or the output device is not manually moved during a loss of power, and that the previously programmed stops for the LogiStop are still valid. And once that's been confirmed, you can reset the board, and to reset the board, you just hit the stop and the enter key simultaneously. And when you do, little LED goes out, and the board comes back up into its ready state. There it goes, ready. Okay. Also shows its current count position, which is 1530. Okay, I preset the stops already on this. You have to pre-program the stops from the keypads on the top of the box. You cannot program the LogiStop from the DMX. You can only operate it from the DMX. So I already have that pre-programmed 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the stops. So the next thing we need to do is make sure that our DMX board is set up to accept the DMX signal. And we have to check these dip switches right here and these thumb wheels right here. Now again, it's in the manual, but the dip switches, you need to make sure that 6, 7, and 8, the last three, are on. Switch number 6 is that it requires a full 513 byte packet in order to respond. Switch 7 is DMX enabled, so if switch 7 is off, it's going to ignore the DMX port completely. And then switch 8 is your termination resistor. So switch 8 should be on if you have less than 4 devices hanging on your network. If you have more than 4 devices hanging on your network, you need to switch that off. Okay. And then the thumb wheels over here, this sets your base address. Now the base address is the address for position number 1 on the LogiStop. So if you set it to 001, then when DMX channel 001 goes above 65% or goes high, the machine is going to go to its number 1 position. All the other stops up to 20 are in sequential order after that. So your base address just sets your start point or your first position, and then all the other ones just follow suit. So you need to make sure you clear those channels in your DMX board for however many stops you're going to be using. So I have my board set up now for base address 001. So the hundredths bit is set to 0, the tenths bit is set to 0, and the ones bit is set to 1. So that's going to respond to channel 1. Alrighty, one other thing you want to make sure of on the dip switch position number 2, if that switch is high, then you can program the LogiStop from the keypads up top. If that switch is not on, then you cannot program the LogiStop. It's not going to allow you to pre-program stops. Alright, so now we're going to operate it from the DMX control down here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it to go to, you can see right now my current level is at 0. I'm going to take it to channel 1. And once I get above about 65%, you'll hear the machine start to operate, and the display will start to count. So here we go, right there. And now my machine's running to position 1. When it gets there, it's going to automatically stop. And there we are. Now, I'm going to take my level back down again. And if you take the level back down while it's operating, the machine will shut off. So if I take it to position number 2 and I tell it to go to position number 2, I'm going to take it up to 65%. But now I'm going to bring it back down. And there it is, you shut it off. Okay. And now if you want to continue to position number 2 from your current position, which is about 1684, just take channel 2 high again, and it will go to position number to stop until the channel goes low first. So you want to make sure you take your channel low and then take it high again to go to that stop. Alright, now with that all set up, it's operating fine. You want to check your other stops, just make sure that they work.